Welcome to In Between the Lines, where nothing is out of bounds, as adversity is an opportunity to adjust and overcome. Joe, we coming to closer towards the end of the football run, and we got to talk about that first game that was played. It was a blizzard. It was cold, to say the least, and it was football weather. Talking about the Patriots defeating the Denver Broncos. What was your thoughts in regards to that game?
Well, the weather starting off with it, you got to say something about the weather. And I heard Kurt Warner, the Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner, said that he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that you want to have a deciding game to go to the Super Bowl played in that type of weather where you really can't judge who's the better team. None of those guys would be able to practice in that weather and get acclimated to it or get used to it, so to speak. But there's no answer. I understand where he was coming from, but there's no answer. You're not going to play a championship game at a neutral site. It was just unfortunate that you either had to play in Denver, or if the Patriots were the number one seed in the AFC, you would have to play in New England, and they also had a blizzard or a storm that was coming that way. And that was something that we all dealt with in the Northeast, the East Coast, as far as the weather. So when you look at it, Vaughn, it is what it is. So it becomes situational football. And that's where I thought the Denver Broncos lost the game. When you talk about Sean Payton early in the football game, instead of going for 3 points or getting 3 points, he decided to go for it on 4th and 1, and that came up incomplete. And that was a chance for them to go up 10-0 in a game that we knew points were going to be at a premium. We knew that it was not going to be a high scoring game at that point. I think he's going to regret, or he did regret, as I was looking and seeing his remarks after the game, he regretted that he didn't necessarily go for that. And then when you're talking about Jared Stidham trying to make a heroic type play, take the sack, go down, and maybe throw the ball away. He tried to be a Superman, or he tried to do something out of his character, and basically gave the New England Patriots 6 points, 7 points. It ended up being. You just can't make that kind of mistake or those mistakes in a game that tight, a game that's going to be nip and tuck the whole entire game, especially in the fourth quarter and in the second half. So overall, I can't tell you if the best team won. But I can tell you that the best team on that day, as far as playing situational football, is the team that's moving on.
Uh, just my thoughts. I told you after the Broncos scored their first drive, even it was right before the drive. I say, I'd be surprised if I say the Broncos stand no chance. Now I knew their defense was tough, but I think the best team won. Now if Bo Nix is starting on that team on the Broncos had a way better shot. Uh, Stidham with that one turnover pretty much cost him the game, as you alluded to. Sean Payton and a lot of his decision making can be questionable. The kicker missed 3 kicks, but I mean, you kicking in a blizzard. What do you expect?
Well,
The
their kicker only missed one. There were a total of three missed kicks, but the Broncos kicker only missed one field goal. And that's what I'm saying. I can understand you saying that the better team won, but without those crucial mistakes, that's two turnovers by Stidham, the late interception and the fumble. That's it. I mean, that's the decision in a game that you only lost by three. The total score being 10-7. That's
well,
it. You
Will
just can't.
Will Lutz missed two. Denver missed 2 field goals.
Oh, so he missed two.
He missed it. Remember, they tried like a
Well,
62 yarder, and then he missed
right.
that one that got
Right
blocked.
before half, they tried one and then he missed another one that it got tipped,
Yeah,
and then the Patriots field goal kicker missed one. So
missed
three
one.
total missed kicks. Yes, no doubt about it. But again, when you say if Bo Nix was going to be there, and I agreed when you texted and said that the Broncos still didn't stand a chance. The Patriots only scored 10 points, man.
Yeah,
So
and
when you
I
say they
would
didn't
say
stand a
that based
chance,
on
then the
weather,
Patriots
but
didn't do
that's
anything
also
either.
where we come back, and like I was saying before, y'all jumped all down C.J. Stroud, and now you got to give credit to Drake May because he found a way to win the game. Um, but Drake May ain't looked good since the playoffs started.
Drake May, Vaughn, did not turn the ball over at all on Sunday. And you saying that we jumped all on CJ Stroud. Did you watch that game CJ Stroud played?
I
He
did, and
gave away
but I
three,
seen
he
the
gave
other
it
side
away.
too. And
What other
I said
side?
Drake May, who had I think 3 touchdowns that game. 2 of them came based off of his wide receiver. Like Booty made the one hand catch, and then Stephon Diggs caught one and got smashed. It was 2 great catches for 2 touchdowns. I said that was the difference between Houston. I seen Houston drop a lot of passes. Not saying that C.J. Stroud decision making was any better, but my point was Drake May didn't play well either. He turned the ball over 3 times that same game.
Drake May threw touchdowns. Drake May, to your Booty, made and played that only his guy can catch it with the one hand. Drake May to Stephon Diggs hit a slant route in double coverage, but only his guy can get it. He made plays, and I understand when you're talking about inclement weather, but CJ Stroud made rookie high school mistakes with his turnovers. That's all I'm
But
talking about.
I don't
He
consider
threw the ball
those
to
rookie
the.
mistakes though.
You don't?
No. It's
Oh,
inclement
okay.
weather the same way that you don't. I don't consider those rookie mistakes. I said that he didn't have necessarily the weapons. You expecting C.J. Stroud to be Superman against elite defense?
No, I'm expecting CJ Stroud to do what Davis Mills did when he was the starter for 4 games. Don't turn the ball over and play game management. That's what I'm expecting. Vaughn, real quick, you caught a first down boot waggle with CJ Stroud, and instead of eating it and living to see second down, he throws a balloon up there, and you know you got to throw it away. In the second half, you call a first down go route on both sides instead of they played double coverage. Instead of him pulling it down and hitting the check down, he threw it right into double coverage. Those are the things I'm talking about. And he also threw a pick six. Those are the things I'm talking about. Not the fact that it wasn't inclement weather, and not the fact that Drake May didn't play well. CJ Stroud was the guy, not Drake May, that had playoff experience for 3 straight years. He's the guy that was won Rookie of the Year, not Drake May. So I expected CJ Stroud for decision making to play a little better. That's all I'm talking about. Let alone the inclement weather. He made some real terrible, like first year type of quarterback decisions.
But I think in inclement weather, it don't matter what year you are because you ain't getting much productivity out of your quarterback other than hey, let's make sure we not turning the ball over, which is
Right.
obviously on him.
That's right. That's
But
all
that
I'm
was on
talking
both.
about.
That was on both ends. Then that's the one thing Drake May did not do, turn the ball over, and he had about two runs that was good the whole game that helped. But again, the Patriots' biggest player was their defense and what is his name, Stidham, because
Right.
without that turnover, the Patriots didn't show much. They're very fortunate to be in the Super Bowl, which they should. I mean, that defense has been playing all playoffs long and keeping them in there. So
I just would be very careful if I said that they were very fortunate when the New England Patriots, they were the number 2 seed. And it was just a tiebreaker that they lost early in the season to, I think, Pittsburgh or maybe New Orleans. They lost game one that came back and haunt them, or the game would have been in Foxborough. But it wasn't like they were the seventh or sixth seed. They were up there the entire season playing outstanding ball, having a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. I want to say this real quick to you, Vaughn. There are what you call forced turnovers and not forced turnovers. Drake May, when they played the Houston Texans, those script sacks, those were forced fumbles. Those are going after when you ripping them a defensive end, and now you forcing the ball in inclement weather. That's you don't want that, but that happens as opposed to unforced turnovers. What C.J. Stroud was doing. That's my difference. Unforced and forced. Those fumbles were knocked out of his hand by a defender. C.J. Stroud threw the ball to the other. That's all I'm talking about. A little bit of difference there, but I look at it and I say that Denver Broncos, great season. Denver Broncos, I don't look at that under the circumstance or what happened with their starter and then having a backup only played in 2 years, a snap, threw a football in 2 years. you got to say, hey, man, job well done. We didn't finish the drill as far as going to the Super Bowl, but we pretty much maxed out where we can go with the backup quarterback against a defense like the Patriots.
And playing in that weather. Like I said,
And playing in that weather,
I,
yes.
I, I disagree with Kurt Warner saying that they should be playing at, like, all playoff games should be in the dome,
He
or
didn't say
no,
it, but he
not
alluded
saying
to it.
that,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're saying. So at that point, Green Bay loses whatever home field advantage they would have. Chicago loses whatever home field. If Buffalo was playing in the playoffs, they wouldn't be crying and saying that, oh, Josh Allen is playing at home. So it's like we can't pick and choose the weather. That's a
No,
part of football. It's
that's right.
it's
I think he
not.
was saying it as a frustrated football guy, and I think he was saying it also as a
I
quarterback
was about to say
that he
maybe as a
want more
quarterback.
points, he want more execution, and it was hard to get that done in weather like that. But that is what it is. He would say right now that it's about football, but I could understand that if you're not a defensive guy, and remember too now, Vaughn, even if that hadn't been great weather, those were two top five defenses. So those
Right.
defenses were
So
going to come to play
yeah.
regardless. So it was going to be a great physical, knock it out, drag out type of game.
But to give credit to Mace, from It Is What It Is, Mace said, that's the difference between football and basketball. People look forward to seeing, as a fan, you look forward to seeing players play in the snow in all inclement
Mm,
weather. We look to see who mentally tough enough to be able to play and who blowing it. Tom Brady. And so much. Now, obviously, when he was in Tampa, he didn't have to, but he wasn't in Tampa long. But to go out there in any weather, or even you think about Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, that's what make it football rather than basketball. You always gonna be in the best environment. What you talking?
right,
Crowd noise? No, but you got to worry about rain. You got to worry about if it's cold. If it's hot, everybody want to play in the warm. But I
that's
don't
right.
see, being that both of the teams was coming from blizzards. It's not like they was playing Miami to where it didn't suit Denver, and that's why Denver want to have home field advantage. So that just a thought, because I had been seeing that circulating on other platforms as well, and some people agree. And it's like, no, I would rather see both teams playing in a dome or whatever the case may be. But then it's like, again, we just seen Chicago have a great NFC divisional round against the Rams, and that's in the cold. Like we got to keep football. You make any more changes, it's gonna be looking like the NBA, and we don't feel like the NBA is what it used to be in regards to the physicality and just the rule changes, hand checking and things like that. So let's keep it, like, if they playing outside and they earn the right, like you said, it ain't like Denver was a 7 seed. They was the number 1
Right,
seed. So
right.
everybody knew what it was gonna be. But
But even to Mason's point, though, and I agree. But again, he said the fans and what we want to watch. No, we don't want to watch that. I mean, we want to watch guys in the snow, inclement weather, definitely with a snow flurry, because that's what football is all about, so to speak. But there's not a player that would agree that I would want to play in that. That's the whole thing. Yeah, the fans would want to watch that, and it's entertaining for the fans. But you ask any quarterback from Caleb Williams to Matthew Stafford to Stidham and Drake May, they would rather have the weather that's going to be in Santa Clara in 2 weeks at the Super Bowl than to play in any snow when it's 12 degrees,
but
because they know execution is not going to be where they want it to be. And they're going to know also that we can't practice in that. That's the whole thing. That blizzard wasn't there in Denver 2 days before while they were practicing. That blizzard wasn't there in the Northeastern Patriots while they were getting ready for that game. It's one thing if you practice in the blizzard all week and you know how to adapt that way. But all of a sudden, because you remember now, they did a good job on the broadcast that they showed the first play of the game, beautiful skies, about 24 degrees. And then in the third quarter, they showed a whole different thing the way it switched right away.
yeah,
It's
they
hard
said
to
it was
prepare for
coming.
that. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for it, but that's why you got to be mentally tough to whatever. Like, I don't care what the weather is. We going out here and we gonna get a victory. If we looking back at a lot of the games, memorial games and games that's over time that stood the test of time, most of those was in inclement weather. You talking about Brady first AFC championship? What was it when they did the tuck rule? Was that
Uh-huh.
against the Raiders? Even if you
Right.
going back to Kansas City versus Buffalo in that great game where all them points were scored, that was in snow. That was a snow game. They pushed it out across the field, but the weather wasn't nice. You can go back to Tom Brady against the Chiefs in that last AFC Championship where they called that offsides and they did that penalty. That was bad weather in Kansas City, that first home game against Kansas City. So I just always believe that those are the games, the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Those the ones that really get remembered, not necessarily games that's just in the dome and you be like, okay, this was great weather. You don't remember all those games. You remember the games that's the forecast is a bit frigid. It's not ideal for nobody, but this is football. We still out there as professionals handling business.
I like it. I love it.
Now, discussing on the NFC side, and I know many was going for the Rams. Myself, I was thinking this Matthew Stafford was gonna find a way to do it, but we got Seattle. Seattle Seahawks has found a way back. And Joe, I remember vividly you were saying that Seattle was the real deal. Their defense was the real deal. They found a way to win and to get a stop 31-27 to become our NFC conference champions. What are you thinking in regards to the Seahawks versus the Rams game that we just witnessed?
Way to make me a believer, Sam Darnold.
Oh yeah.
Because even though that I said that Seattle and they have a really good defense and they won the NFC West and they were the overall number one seed that put together a pretty solid, excellent season, I still didn't believe that Sam Darnold could finish it. I still didn't believe that he can play up to par all the way through. Even when you're looking back at the two games they played in the regular season against the Rams, he had a few turnovers. Even that point where they went for it for two and they won the last meeting in the regular season against the Rams, I still didn't believe. So he made me a believer yesterday. He made me a believer with the decision making. He made me a believer with his ability to go downfield and make pinpoint accuracy throws. And later on in that game, he did a lot with his legs as well. So Sam Darnold wasn't the Seahawks didn't win despite of Sam Darnold. They won because Sam Darnold made a lot of plays. And that's what I like about what the Seahawks are doing. And that's what I like about what the Patriots are doing. Anything can happen now. Anything can happen. And I know Seahawks, they have a championship pedigree. They're a one-time Super Bowl champ. And we know about the Patriots being six-time Super Bowl champ. But look at the last 2 years. The Patriots won 8 games in 2 years, and here they are right there on the brink of winning a championship. The Seattle Seahawks just had their new head coach, Mike Macdonald. This is just his second year, and they're in the Super Bowl. So there are no excuses about how fast or how quick can you turn a team around or a program around. You just have to have the right hire, and you have to get the right pieces. And I wouldn't even go and say you have to have the right quarterback or a franchise quarterback, because while Sam Darnold is leading those guys and he is the quarterback of Seattle, I don't look at him as a franchise quarterback. He's up and coming. Maybe he could turn that around, but I don't look at him as a guy that said, put this team on my back and I can carry you to the promised land. And again, Vaughn, situational football. And when I say situational football, third down, uh, special teams, because that was the change and that was the momentum changing play when the punt returner from the Los Angeles Rams muffed the punt. And then 2 plays later, or maybe the next play, Seattle scored to go up 2 scores. That's where, the Rams were playing from behind the entire game or the entire second half. And they weren't able to succeed. When you talk about Seattle stopped the Rams when they were down there on the goal line and 4th and about 3 from the 6-yard line, that was situational football. Third down, and then again stop them on 4th down. That's what you don't look at when you look at the box score. And I'm talking about a well-played game. Yeah, there were some turnovers. Matter of fact, Malik Wooten almost was the GOAT, or he almost had egg on his face by how he
The
acted and getting
blame,
that
yeah.
unsportsmanlike play. Yeah, or get that unsportsmanlike penalty on the sideline, because a lot of people would say you have to hold that flag, Mr. Ref. You can't call that in a big game, but you have to call it. That's too blatant. That was not even on the field of play. You were on their sideline, and what they were trying to prevent there is a melee. You say the wrong thing to a guy, you don't know how he's taunting. You don't know how he's trash talking. You don't know what is said. He could be saying, let's go, and get fired up. Or he could be saying some derogatory things about talking about Guy's family, talking about Guy's sexuality. He could be saying all those type of things, and you don't want to have that happen. But shout out to Seattle, too, because they overcame that and they galvanized as a whole team. But overall, that is what I was looking for. We had both games, 1-10-7, that went down to the fourth quarter, and 4-minute drill, situational football, to where the Patriots had it with under 2 minutes left or under 4 minutes left. And then you needed to run the ball and get one first down, and you win the game. Seattle, the same thing against the Rams. When the Rams, when they got the ball back, they needed 2 or 3 first downs to make sure the Rams didn't get the ball again, and they were able to kneel it out. That's good situational football, and I think both teams earned their right to be there. And shout out to them, because that's what I love. Because you go back at it, Vaughn, you and I followed the college football season this year, and we followed the NFL this year. I don't know what's more improbable, that the Indiana Hoosiers this year, now that their history, this year that the Indiana Hoosiers won the national championship, or that the Seahawks are matching up against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know the history of the Patriots, and I know Seattle have won one, but going into this season, we definitely would have picked the Patriots with a new head coach in Vrabel, with a second-year quarterback in Drake May, going to the Super Bowl. Job well done.
Right, rightfully so. But I think still probably Indiana would be. Nobody would think Indiana would turn things around. Two things that you said, and talking about Sam Darnold. Just to go back on and talk about how teams gave up on him. One,
Right.
Sam Darnold won 14 games last year in the regular season. So, it's time to
And
start
nobody
putting,
believed in him coming into this season because how he ended last season.
right. But it's not many times where he had those expectations to even win a playoff game, because he didn't find himself in those situations. Now, second year on a new squad, a whole new squad, 14 games again. It's time to you can't put him in the same breath as Kirk Cousins or a lot of these other folks. It's time to put some real respect on his name. And like you said, he won a shootout with he outgunned Matthew Stafford.
For the second time this season, he sure did.
Shout out to JSN, and then on the other side, Puka Nacua. I mean, it was a great game to see. I'm surprised in the fourth quarter it was a shutout. Seattle led majority of this game. Honestly, if you look in here, it looks like the Rams only led for about 30 seconds of the entire game.
Yeah, I think at 13-10.
13-10, and then right before the half, Seattle had scored, and it was 17-13, and they didn't lead. I mean, they led the rest of the game. So shout out to that defense. You had said that they were, one of the top defenses. But this is where I go back to when we just was talking about C.J. Stroud, and folks is talking about moving on from him. You can look at Sam Darnold, and you can see C.J., obviously you got different teams, you get different weapons around, and Seahawks is really strong on the run, but of course they got JSN, and they even got Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. You get them some weapons, they might look like a completely different quarterback. Now, if Houston is ready to move on from CJ Stroud, just look around, because again, it's a lot of quarterbacks in this league. Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, that ain't really won no games and ain't won nothing. C.J. Stroud got the same amount of playoff wins as Lamar Jackson. So I would just say everybody need to pump their brakes. I know the expectations is C.J. Stroud shouldn't be making rookie mistakes, or he should have learned.
Vaughn.
Huh?
He regressed.
Yeah, but we don't say that. We don't hold those same standards of saying somebody regressed based on how they might have played this year. But then when we get in the playoffs, and year after year, when either Lamar Jackson get knocked out and he might win MVP, or you have Josh Allen get knocked out and he might win MVP, We don't say nothing about he
Yeah,
regressed.
it's
We just
different.
say,
It's
oh
different,
well, we got to get him some more help.
Vaughn is different. It's different when C.J. Stroud did the same thing back-to-back weeks. It's different. You see it a little bit different, and you're correct
But
about what
one
you're
was in
saying.
Pittsburgh,
Okay, and
and then the
then
other one
one
was
was
in
in.
New England in the tundra too.
Yeah, but I understand. So you sound like you're making excuses for him. I mean,
No, by all
the
means,
decision he
I'm
was
just saying
making, though.
if
I'm
you
just
want to
talking about the
move,
decisions.
I'm just saying if
But
you
no,
want to move from
no, I
C.J.
don't want to
Stroud,
move on
look at
from
the
him.
field. Look at the field
Well,
and see
check this
who
out.
else you gonna choose.
I'll say this to you, coming from his head coach. And he said he had just had an exit meeting on last Tuesday with C.J. Stroud that Tuesday after they lost on Sunday. He said he had a long talk with C.J. Stroud that he got to mentally get more tougher to thinking that I have a defense that I don't have to make all the plays, that I don't have to make every play a touchdown play. I don't have to make every play a game-saving play because he said it's different that you playing that you have to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns every game as opposed to just handle your business. Don't turn it over and let your defense jog out there. That's all we're saying. That's all I was saying about C.J. Stroud. It really shocked me with back-to-back weeks what he put together. Those 2 games and some of the decisions, at least 10 decisions, were made. Now you can say cold, but was unforced errors, crucial unforced errors. That's all. And when you look at it, Sam Darnold, he didn't win a playoff game last year. And he won 2 this year, so he's got 3 overall. I have to put more respect on his name, especially if he goes to win the Lombardi Trophy and hold up the Super Bowl, let alone get Super Bowl MVP. But that's about it. I can't go back and say all the things that you put on film. We can disregard that. He's turned it around, somewhat like Baker Mayfield. He's turned it around. He's turned
Baker
it way around
Mayfield
from
ain't
being
turned it
Cleveland.
around as he hasn't
I'm
took
talking
his
about from the
team to
play
an
he's been
NFC
playing, what he
championship.
put on film early. What he put on film early, and then remember, Baker Mayfield went to Panthers, Carolina, and he
Right?
went to the Rams. He went somewhere else for what he was doing as a #1 overall pick. That's what I'm saying. He turned it around. Not say he won a championship, but his play got turned around.
He got a
He
bit
got
better, but only for them not to make the playoffs.
well, no, he got much better. What are you talking about? I
No,
mean,
I'm
he
saying
got much
it
better.
got better, but they started off what 6-0.
No, yeah, you're right. This season, I'm just talking about how you look at Liam Cohn in Jacksonville. He got a head coaching job because of Baker Mayfield. Dave Canales and Panthers, that's 2 straight years other than this year that Baker Mayfield lost his offensive coordinator to head coaching spots. So yeah, he didn't perform down the stretch. The team didn't perform down the stretch as far as winning games. But I saw a total different Baker Mayfield the last 3 years than the prior 3 years. That's all I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean he didn't finish the drill this year, but that's all I'm saying. Check this out. So I have to ask you a question. What I thought about. What career would you rather have now because these 4 guys I'm about to mention, they have one thing in common: Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
Lamar Jackson.
and Baker Mayfield.
Lamar Jackson.
And they have in common they all got drafted the same year, 2018. So now you look at it, they all got drafted in the same class. Baker Mayfield went 1, Sam Darnold went 3, Josh Allen went 7, and then Lamar Jackson went 32nd. And then we're not going to talk about the number 10th pick is Josh Rosen out of UCLA. That I mean, it was a total bust. But here it is, out of all those names, you see Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, and I don't disagree with you. I would say he's the better quarterback of that group. But here's the second or third overall pick. He's the one that going to the Super Bowl.
He the
He's the
first
one
one to
that's
go to
sitting
the
there
Super
and
Bowl.
getting
Yeah.
ready. He's the one getting ready to probably, if they go ahead and finish the job, he might win the Super Bowl MVP. Then that whole narrative changes right away. Yes, he doesn't have an MVP, and it goes back to what Cam Newton said about a year and a half ago with the MVP, as opposed to having an MVP on your resume or having a Super Bowl on your resume as a quarterback. I disagreed with Cam when he said it. He said I would rather have my MVP, and I said no, 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 no. Let me be. I'll be the guy that have that Super Bowl trophy that led that team to Super Bowl, and you can have your MVP. So it's to each his own. A lot of
But
people might
Lamar Jackson
disagree.
got 2 MVPs. So
Well, no
that's why
Super
you're not
Bowls though.
saying Josh Allen or Sam Donald or Sam Darnold. those are more so comparison in the Cam Newton discussion. We're not talking about a multiple MVP winner. That's I think Lamar Jackson, like I said before, similar to Michael Vick, it's transcended the league. I don't think Josh Allen is the same way. Just like right now, it seems like they trying, not even trying. Um, like I said, May has done a great job in the regular season. His team is making the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, both teams in the Super Bowl deserve all the credit. But you better believe they looking for some new blood that they can put as the new face of the league. You know, that's going to be associated with winning, that can possibly have a dynasty like, or, you know, at least some runs, some playoff runs in the future. Because you can't count on Joe Burrow.
That's more sexier though, to have somebody that's you can count on every year that's going to be there. So they probably look at somebody that they can count on, and they're looking to somebody who's going to be there at the end. Yeah, I
But that's what
mean
I'm
we
saying.
can't.
We can't. The AFC this year, and this is why we were saying Lamar and Josh Allen, this was their times, because Patty Mahomes was out of there. You
Yeah,
can't count on Joe Burrow. He gets hurt. But
right,
obviously, you know, you would think Joe Burrow. You can't count on Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. You can't count
right,
on Josh Allen in the playoffs. So,
right.
yes, somebody like Drake May that's only been in the league 2 years now making it to the Super Bowl, they would love to put him as, okay, we going to put you in the forefront, especially while Mahomes is down right now and recovering.
Well,
However,
it's not a reach though. It's not a reach to do that with Drake May. And the reason why I'm saying it's not a reach because this guy is the second youngest guy to ever make it to the Super Bowl beyond Dan Marino, 23 years old. This guy, if everything works out the way I think it's going to work out, and it might surprise me if he wins it, but he's going to be second in the MVP voting behind Matthew Stafford. So they're not just pushing him to the forefront. It's on paper what he's done. I mean, he's made us some strides to where now he's going to be second in the MVP voting. And if they win, probably the quarterback is going to get MVP. Now you can put Super Bowl MVP on his resume. That's just something, you're right. That is something they would be looking for because all the years they have coming, if Josh McDaniel stays at OC, if Mike Vrabel's still there as a head coach, you're going to think from now going forward, it's going to be a matchup with Drake May and those other quarterbacks you mentioned, including Patrick Mahomes, who I think still is the face.
pump your brakes. I wouldn't even put Drake May. That's what I'm saying. Drake,
Why? Why?
why would I?
Uh, well, I mean, why would you what? Put him as the
Because I done
face?
seen his last two performances, and it's nothing that shows me. And again, he's winning. So if he win the Super Bowl, I just have to be quiet. But even with him winning the Super Bowl, I'm not putting him up against Patrick Mahomes, who's consistently in it. I'm not putting him. I'm not putting him on the level of Lamar Jackson,
Okay,
and
well, I
possibly
mean,
I'm not
you just
even
hold
putting
it on
him
now.
on the level of Josh Allen, because one good season don't would not erase history of somebody carrying their team. And you wouldn't say that
History,
he's
but
been carrying the team. You would say the defense has been dominating in these inclement weather games.
well, in the equipment weather games, yeah, he's had 3 games. In this last year, I mean, this last game, he was the leading rusher in this last game. I mean, he was the leading rusher.
He was
So
the
you can't
leading
take that away
rusher
from
with
him.
like 50 yards. He
I
had
think he had
two big runs. He had the
he had
bootleg, which was
65,
huge, and then he
and
had the quarterback draw, which they
and
had.
that's huge in a touchdown. That's huge from a quarterback. What are you talking about? 65 yards? That's huge. So you said inclement weather, and you don't want to give him that credit, but yes,
I'm just looking.
he took this team.
I'm used
He
to.
took this team
He took the team where?
to the record of the number 2 seed. He took that team there. The dude had 40 something total
Well, then,
touchdowns.
like I said, sometimes it's a little bit of luck that transpires as well. And I again, because I would have picked it out of the AFC, the Patriots anyhow, just because I didn't see nobody else too much in the AFC that could have done anything. I was hoping that Josh Allen would have got over the hump. Lamar Jackson wasn't in the way. Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the way. So we knew it was going to be somebody, either a new or a franchise that was rebuilding, or some new blood that come out of here and get to the Super Bowl. We knew that because it's been a crazy year all season. However, I just can't act like now the age could certainly be a thing, just like you said, him being 24, not making many mistakes, at least last game. But other than Stidham even turning that ball over, Stidham played just as good as Drake May played last game.
See, Vaughn, you can't do that though. I see what
And
you're
I
trying to
watched
do,
the
but
game. I'm sitting there
no,
about to fall asleep
yeah,
because
yeah, but
neither
you
team
can't.
was doing anything offensively.
I hear and I see what you're trying to do. You just can't do that. You just can't say what you just said outside of the two turnovers. They were huge. So you
Outside of
can't
who, two
say
turnovers?
Stidham. You said they played the same game. You said outside of the turnovers from
Outside of the
Stidham.
intercept. I mean that fumble was just idiotic.
Yeah, so I mean outside so he
Well,
turned the ball
really,
over two
it was
times.
the fumble, the interception. I don't give him. I mean, it was no issue in regards to that. He trying to make a play.
Yeah, but
Gonzalez,
he
one
threw
of
it
the
in the
top
double
corners.
coverage, man. He threw it in the double coverage on second down when you needed a field goal. That's all. But that's neither here nor there. But Vaughn, you cannot say outside of two turnovers that they played the same game. Two turnovers are huge. It's huge.
That's huge, but I can't act like Drake May played a great. Again, I'm used to
Nobody
seeing.
said
I'm
great.
used to
Nobody
seeing
said
Tom
great.
Brady because now you say you throwing them in these conversations with the greats. That's gonna have spectacular performances
No, no, no,
in
no, no,
those
no,
inclement
no.
weathers. We
No,
talking
no, no.
about
What
Patty
great?
Mahomes. You just said I wouldn't move Patty Mahomes yet. Yeah, and I
Nope.
wouldn't.
That's all. That's it. I
So
didn't say anything
I
about
wouldn't.
Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson because again, we are talking about if he finish this off. If Drake May goes and without you knowing what the season is going to happen or what kind of season is going to be next year, if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens or Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills run up against the Patriots next year with Drake May, and Drake May is a Super Bowl MVP and a champion, why when you put Drake
I
May,
don't
say why
think.
would you think they might beat them?
I don't think that they're running scared of Drake May.
Nobody's going. Nobody. Hold on.
People are
Newsflash.
running scared. Was
News.
running scared
News.
of Lamar
News.
Jackson, and they was running
News.
scared of Josh Allen MVP
Newsflash.
seasons.
Nobody. Newsflash, man. Nobody in the NFL is running scared from anybody.
Man, you
I watched
worry.
it.
You have nightmares in regards to those players because of what they can and cannot do.
I
Now, of course,
watched.
the in division Pittsburgh ain't running scared because they see them twice a year. I ain't even gonna mention the Bengals or the Browns because there's no need. But my point is, yes, he
I'll give you an
gives the
example. I'll
same
give you an
way that
example.
Mike Vick used to give fits to other teams.
Yeah, Fitz not running scared. I'll give you an example. I'm glad you brought that up. My teammates with Tampa were looking forward to playing Mike Vick. And he had some of his worst games against the Bucks because they wanted him to sit back and read the defenses, read the defense, and they knew that without the electric play, he wasn't going to beat him. I also played on a teammate that they played Barry Sanders 3 or 4 times. We played Marshall Faulk. They respected him, but not fearing. I'm also from the team that played a team that they played Randy Moss twice a year, and that's the most scariest person as a DB you want to ever fear or ever face. But ain't nobody running scared. You just going out there and playing. And my point is, when it comes down to next year, you don't have to be red and scared, but you have to be careful that Drake May can beat you in a quarterback draw. Drake May can beat you with his legs. And Drake May can beat you deep down the field. He showed us that in the playoffs and in the regular season. That's it. And going up against, if it's true, Vaughn, if this guy wins, or that team wins this Super Bowl, and he's the MVP, what makes you not think that? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'll leave it with. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be better, and Andy Reid's going to bounce back. But what would have you say that they're not going to be the second favorite to repeat behind Kansas City?
Oh, the game's
And
got to
part
be
of that's going to
played.
be because they caught a quarterback coming back in Drake May.
Well, as long as they got that defense, which I think deserves majority of the credit, the defense, then the Patriots gonna be all right. You can sub whoever you want. Again, with 86 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, you can put anybody in there to get that done as long as 5 sacks, which again, it was bad weather. But I just got to see more. Our expectations are different when we talking about quarterback play. But the goal is to get
Yeah,
the
you want
job
to see
done.
spectacular. You
Not
want to
even
see people.
spectacular. I just need to see 100
I
yards
just want to see
passing or
them
something.
win.
Huh?
That I give good. See, that's a little bit different from where you're coming from, and I understand where you're coming from. I think that was an outstanding game Drake May played. When the fact that that inclement weather, you didn't turn the ball over, you led the team in rushing, and your team won. That's outstanding for me.
Well, he
I
didn't
mean,
lead the team in
because again,
rushing.
you're not going to have a good completion percentage, and you're
Stevenson
not going
had
to throw the ball
71
that
yards
much.
rushing. He didn't lead the
Huh?
team in rushing. Stevenson
He
had
did it,
71 yards rushing, but he was
and
right
what he
behind
had,
him with
65.
65. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
thinking Henderson. I didn't see him get many carries. I thought
no,
was he
he. I don't
hurt?
think he had 10 yards.
He had only three carries, 5 yards.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
nevertheless, tomatoes, they going to the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, we gonna get to see against that Seattle defense what Dre May is made of, and vice versa. We get to see what Sam Darnold is made of against that New England defense, and we got 2 weeks before we really deep
Well, I already
dive
know what Drake May is made of,
into
man.
the well
I think
you
this.
know better than I, because I only
I
gonna
think
watch
this.
these playoffs,
I
and
think
I
this is
haven't been
a.
you watched all throughout the season again, but when it matters most, I'm paying attention, and I'm just seeing, and I haven't
You
seen New England offense look um that it's no guarantee that they coming out of this Super Bowl victorious.
who did New England play first?
They just
I
played
know who they
C.J.
played.
Stroud.
No,
No.
who
They
did.
played. They played the
So so
Chargers in the
yeah.
16-3.
So there you go, Vaughn. And if you want to go ahead and take some credit away from Drake May, I'll let you do that. But they played three of the top five teams, National Football defenses on his run. And you're the same guy. Three of the top five defenses in Houston, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. And you're the guy just said last week to me when we were talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and compare. You said either you get it done or you don't.
No, and
That's
that's
what
why
you
I said
said.
if he
So
wins it,
Drake May's getting it done.
absolutely,
That's
he getting
it.
it done. But I just said don't try and catapult him to talking about him and Patrick Mahomes. It shouldn't even be in the
No, no,
same
you no,
sentence.
no, no. I told you Patrick Mahomes staying there, but I also would tell you right now, Josh Allen's gonna have to take a back seat if this guy comes on the scene at 23 years old and he's got an MVP in a Super Bowl
Oh yeah,
already.
they already looking to try and replace him. That's how the NBA. I mean, that's how the NFL will do you,
Trying to
Josh
replace
Allen.
who? Josh Allen ain't there to be replaced. Who's there to be replaced is Patrick Mahomes.
You
Even Lamar
can't
Jackson's not reported.
you
I
can't
mean,
replace a champion. Now he's out because of injury. It's no other reason. Josh
no,
Allen.
they weren't making the playoffs, man.
No, I
They
know
were
they
not making
wasn't
the.
making the playoffs, but still he got too many under his belt for you to just act like, oh, 1 year not making the playoffs means he gonna be replaced. When Josh Allen, all they got is an MVP, and like you said, Drake May is already a MVP second right now, or might win MVP. So just
Well,
as if he won MVP, he already gonna replace him.
not Patrick Mahomes.
Not Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, he
No,
shouldn't even be mentioned with Patrick Mahomes. That's like mentioning
no.
Brady and mentioning Drake May. Shouldn't be
No.
happening unless we talking about young quarterbacks to lead their team to a championship and revive them. I can see the comparisons there. But we got to put some respect on legendary type stuff and new hotness. Right now, what we was talking about, the superstars, the levels of superstardom, I think he's obviously all-star looking to make his way into superstar. Drake May
That's
is.
exactly where he's at.
You know,
Yes.
he
Yes.
passed the 15 minutes of fame. He's an
Yes.
all-star moving to superstar. And you
Yes.
know, if he can close the deal, he gonna be there and
Yes.
they gonna catapult him
Yes.
there. But he ain't legendary. We not gonna
No.
take it that far.
No, but again, is Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, are they superstars?
They superstars for sure.
Thank you. I think so as
Like
well.
that's
So
no
yeah, I think
brainer.
so. Yeah, that's no brainer. But here again, though, I mean, they would not have the hardware. They would not be as accomplished because that Super Bowl is going to put
Yeah,
you there more accomplished.
that championship means a lot.
A whole lot. So we shall see. And again, he's doing that while everybody is putting other people on the pedestal before him. He wasn't expected to do it this fast. Yeah, I thinking he was going to be an up and coming guy. I'd look for him to be putting together a good season under Josh McDaniels. I did not expect this. He passed along a few guys in this run to make the Super Bowl in this regular season they put up that I'm like, wow. we're gonna have to scoot this guy ahead of some people.
But
That's
he
all.
coming through the back
Not ahead
door.
of
He
Josh
didn't
Allen.
beat Josh Allen. He didn't
But
beat
well,
Lamar
you don't have to go
Jackson.
head
He
to
didn't
head.
beat
You don't have to
Kansas
go head to
City.
head. You don't have to go head to
Most
head.
of the times in the previous past, you gonna had to go through Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. This the first year that you ain't had to go through Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, the only one that ever did it was Joe Burrow.
That's my point. That's why you got to
If
put an
Tom Brady did it,
attribute.
he wasn't even Josh Allen. He wasn't even Patrick Mahomes yet. But you don't. I mean, you can't Well, you probably can, but you can't discredit it this year. Whoever wins the Super Bowl, definitely Drake made that. He didn't do it because Patrick Mahomes was on the sideline.
No, but
You can't do that.
that's when we can really say again head to head. A lot of time nobody expected Drake May to be in this position, so you got to salute him and his team. And just like
What if
Seattle,
Patrick Mahomes never gets back?
well, who's to say Drake May gonna get back?
No, what I'm saying, no, I'm just bringing up to your point that what if Patrick Mahomes never gets back to AFC Championship game and Drake May matches up a few more times, but is not against Patrick Mahomes?
My point is Drake May is gonna at least have to play Josh Allen. He gonna at least have to play Joe Burrow, or he gonna at least have to play Lamar Jackson. Not all four of them. He didn't play neither one of them to get into playing in the playoffs because Denver knocked out Josh Allen. Kansas City didn't make the playoffs. Baltimore didn't make the playoffs, and obviously Cincinnati didn't make the playoffs. So
I like where you're going with that.
like you gotta play the top four at one point. At some point, you gonna have to go up against them. It ain't gonna be you can't dodge them forever. And not saying that he dodged them. It was their fault that they didn't get there, or injury, or whatever the case may be. Because some might say Joe Burrow was hurt first, Patrick Mahomes got hurt late, and same even with Lamar. Lamar was hurt throughout the season. And they missed the field goal, didn't make the playoffs. Whatever the case may be, shout out to Drake May, and we shout out to the Patriots. I'm glad we talking about the Patriots, because this is why when we talk about the Falcons or you talk about the Browns and you want to talk about these teams. No, every team and every organization can't turn it around and do this. And they show history.
I can't have this discussion with. I mean, I can't do it. I can't do it, Vaughn, because you don't come off of your stance. No matter what you see, you don't come off of your stance. I mean, what did? So go ahead and finish your statement. Why
history has shown good organizations such as the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to be in the playoffs. They win. The Patriots find a way to be back. And that was one reason I was saying, you know what? If the Patriots win or at least go to the Super Bowl, I'm happy for the Kraft family because, hey, they ain't been down long. They back. Seattle, it's 10 years removed since they should have ran the damn ball. And they gave a Super Bowl to the Patriots, which I was happy about. However, they back. You go 40 years, and even you talking about the Cowboys. Michael Irvin even said, you can't speak of the Cowboys and you got teams that's going back and now back again since they got won. And it's been 30 years since they even been there. And you got teams like the Falcons who've been there 2 times in 30 years, which is even better than the Cowboys. At least the Cowboys, I guess, won it when they went. And then you got teams like the Browns who ain't been there, period. You very optimistic. It's not about curse. It's who is calling the shots. Who is the owners?
But I'm not very optimistic. I'm just looking at proof in the pudding. The Eagles hadn't won before 2017. They hadn't won a Super Bowl.
But they still had an NFC run where they went to 4 NFC championships with Andy Reid.
Yeah, but they didn't win.
And they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
and lost with Donovan McNabb and T.O.
Yeah, but they weren't champions. That's what I'm saying. They weren't champions. So I mean, either you're cursed or you're not. All I'm trying to show you now is that we've seen Seattle. You said 10 years ago. Before then, Seattle went once against the Steelers.
Well, they won a year before.
No, I'm talking about the year before when they won. They didn't have any championship.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck when they went went against Steelers and Sean Alexander.
So when you say teams or never or they hadn't shown. That's the time when they can show. I mean, when are we looking at it and say, to your point, that C.J. Stroud I don't want to speak for you, but to your what you were trying to allude to, C.J. Stroud don't stand a chance because history shows us that the Houston Texans haven't done anything, so he doesn't stand a chance.
You ain't heard me say nothing about the Houston Texans was gonna win the
That's what I'm
Super
saying.
Bowl.
No, I'm asking now. I'm asking now. He
But that's
doesn't
why I
stand a
said I
chance in
don't.
the future.
If your expectations are to win a Super Bowl for the Houston Texans based on the talent that's on the team, and I'm not just talking about the defensive side of the ball, I'm talking about offensively. It's about like saying the Falcons got more talent than the Houston Texans do. The Falcons just got an issue at quarterback. Now, if they had C.J. Stroud, they got a better chance. They got an issue at quarterback, and they got an issue in regards to the organization. The same with the Browns. The Browns got a great defense, but they offense stink. They coaches gonna stunk. They don't win.
I get what you. Yeah,
It's like if we going. It's like if we going to the NBA. We going to the NBA, and you might say now, the Cleveland Cavaliers had a shot at winning without LeBron. I say win. When they was the number 1 seed, and I say that was fool's gold. Who took them serious? And now, obviously, it came to their demise. They went out. They got knocked out. Some people was believing in them. Others
I
don't.
still think they might have a chance. I mean, I can't say they'll never do it with Donovan Mitchell and what they're doing now. I can't say that. Hey, but Vaughn, my point is, I'm just trying to. The Golden State Warriors, before the 15, they were nowhere to be found. They were a franchise in the dumpster fire.
You can't say they was in dumpster.
Well,
When
they
beat
though.
Dallas. They beat Dallas number 1 seed.
But they hadn't won. I mean, but they didn't get to the conference finals.
But I'm saying you don't even have that type of significance when you talking about the Browns.
The Browns, man, went to the AFC Championship twice back to back, and Elway put them out. So that's neither here nor. So Vaughn, I didn't want to bring this up, but I've always had this card in my back pocket when you talk about this. How do you explain Cincinnati and Indiana?
That's the difference. College football.
I mean, they've never won.
That is different. Obviously, we talking about because this is college football.
When you're not used to winning, you never won before. History says you can't win or you didn't win before because that's what you're saying.
With college football, you can have a Heisman like player and have your team be one of the top teams, such as Baylor had with RG3.
They weren't one of the top teams.
They were one of the top teams when he was playing.
Games.
Yeah, they eventually, but they was the top 5. They was in the top 5 at one point that season. You had Johnny Manziel with Texas A&M.
You beat Alabama. Yeah, he lost 4 games too.
But we can't act like I'm saying throughout the season they was in the top 5. Johnny Manziel had A&M in the top 5. The same way that RG3. Not talking about where he picked or where they finished at. I'm saying with one player you can come in and you can be in the top 5.
Yeah, but we're not talking about with that one player winning a national championship. Like we're talking.
Yeah, but that takes a team and obviously a coach. That's why it's more rare. But
that's what I'm saying.
My point is, it takes even for the Super Bowl. With the Super Bowl, you still find yourself the same teams in the Super Bowl. It's the Patriots and the Seahawks. You ain't got. It's not no new parity in the NFL.
What's the difference between you telling me that 2 years before Seattle went back to back, they went to 1 Super Bowl? So what's the difference?
But so they still was relevant within the last 10 years rather than right now. That's like saying the Knicks holding on to the championship in the 70s. That's what the Cowboys been doing. They holding on to the championship in 95.
But they're not relevant right now?
Who?
The Knicks.
The Knicks are more relevant because they was just in the. It just was in.
I mean, they're relevant. They had, yeah,
but the Knicks is always relevant because of New York.
Vaughn, the reason why this is coming up so emphatically with me because you were. I mean, I can give you the Cleveland Browns if you want that, and I still don't feel you and get on your side of the fence and say they'll never.
But just like you said in the Texans.
But you sat there and said, I mean, you very believe that the Falcons ain't gonna do nothing. No matter who they bring in, they ain't gonna do nothing. And the Falcons have been to 2 Super Bowls, and most recently 2017. So why would you go out and say they'll never?
And if you ask a Falcon fan about that Super Bowl, they won't even mention that one.
Well, again,
Because
because it
it's
was
the
the
biggest
Broncos.
choke of all Super Bowls. So again, I'm
Okay.
not surprised.
That goes back to where no, but still explain yourself when you were saying they can never do anything because of
Because I
they
go
almost
based
cursed.
on you got. I didn't say they curse. You say they curse.
Basically, I'm saying, well, no. Basically, if they'll never go, if they aren't going to ever do anything, you're trying to say something about the organization,
That just means they stink. They need new ownership.
and they're going to always think.
If they get some new ownership, then they probably can get some change. Or what did I say? I said the Falcons need a quarterback that's going to transcend and really do something. Not with what they've been doing thus far. Matty Ice was he did what he was supposed to do. Hall of
I just
Famer.
look at it like this. I just look at it like this, and it's a great transition. Is that the new hires that's going to be available? We don't know if just Josh Allen is going to be there. That somebody's going to have to go through Josh Allen because we don't know who Mr. Pagula, the owner, is going to hire. We don't know if Lamar is going to get back there under Jesse Minter, the new head coach, first-time head coach who they hired. It's not an automatic. They're going to get back there, but it can be. And then I'm looking at a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars that I know what you're going to be your opinion about that. But here you go, Liam Cohen comes in 1 year and changes that whole thing around. They probably have a good two-way player with Travis Hunter coming back, and they can do really, really good things. So that's a team I'm looking at building. Now, I would tell you, and I would agree with you, traditionally, the Jaguars hadn't done anything, but I'm not going to sit here and go and say just because they're the Jaguars and they hadn't been relevant in how many years that they can't or they will not, because I think they got the right coach. That's all I'm saying to you.
You
That's
say
it.
the Chargers got the right coach too. They
I
ain't
think they
done
do.
nothing.
Well, isn't this was just John Harbaugh's second year?
How many
What do you mean
years
he
does
ain't
he
done nothing?
need?
What
What
do
has
you
he
mean?
done?
Dude, they went to the playoffs back-to-back years, and this particular year right here, they lost both of their tackles. Gone.
Man, you
Starting
always
tackle, all
gonna have
perfect.
injuries. That's like saying oh, obviously
But
Denver just
everybody's not
lost their
going to win the Super
quarterback.
Bowl. Everybody's not going to go and win the Super Bowl. You got to judge some people on the progress they're making. I mean, like you poo-pooed on Jacksonville, and
I'm poo pooing on them now. That's my point.
And it showed tremendous improvement.
Well, that's good. That's good for them. Again, I'm judging based on if you saying is Jacksonville a championship contender. Just like even if you ask me, is Houston a championship contender? I would say, of course not. Like I didn't think the expectations for Houston was to win a championship right now.
Oh,
They can have a great defense, but again, I look on the offensive side of the ball. If I can't name nobody on that offense, which on the opposite side of the Patriots, I can name players on that offense, wide receivers, weapons that he's throwing the ball to.
Who won?
Even if it was just Diggs, I know Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah, a rookie.
It doesn't matter. I'm saying
So,
I can't name you nobody on Houston, Texas offense.
You seen how you being such a hypocrite in your stance here, going into the week 6. What would made you think that the Patriots were championship contenders?
Because the organization know how to win. What don't you understand?
The organization just lost the last 2 years.
That's fine. How many years did Jacksonville lose? And Jacksonville don't know nothing about winning no championship.
If the organization, so the Patriots are Super Bowl contenders every year.
I didn't say every year, but they better. They got a better shot. They can tell you how to win a championship better than the Cowboys can. The Cowboys going off of something with Aikman. They going off.
No, that's the same owner though. Same owner.
It doesn't that again. You still going off of 30 years ago.
But you said the same ownership. That's the same owner.
And everybody would agree it's time for Jerry to give it up.
So he knows how to win.
No.
So what do you mean no?
He ain't had those same playmakers since. Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman.
Who's left of the Brady team?
Vrabel. Josh, what's it? The OC?
He's not left off of that team.
What you mean he's not left off of that team? He was on the team.
They weren't there. Vrabel or Josh McDaniels weren't there.
But Josh McDaniels gonna coach there for a Super Bowl as an OC.
Even Vrabel played, but I'm saying
but that's what I'm saying.
Now that you saying automatically now because they got ownership has been there and done that. That that's what's going to say they're going to win going forward. That's
I
what
didn't
you're
say
saying?
that. I said that's why your expectation should be, oh, they can get it done because you got an OC that got it done before, and you got a player turned coach who's got it done before. You was the one who told me last episode we did that Vrabel gonna been to the AFC Championship.
That's because I saw it. I saw where this team is going, but it was never a point that early in the season I'm going to talk about them, or I'm going to talk about somebody that you were talking about, Jacksonville, that they can't get it done
But I would
because of
I
the
would
ownership.
always
That's
choose
all
I
I'm
would
saying. All I'm
always
saying
choose the
is,
Patriots over Jacksonville. If you told me that
nobody's
Lamar
talking about
Jackson,
that, Vaughn. We're not talking about that. Who you choosing? I'm not saying choosing a team. I'm just talking about any team that's showing me promise. I can say I don't have to look back to their history and say they've never won, and that's how I'm going to judge what's at hand. That's all I'm saying to you. All I'm
yeah,
saying is
well,
because of what
sometimes
they've
your
done,
eyes
I'm
can
not going to
be
judge it.
sometimes your eyes can show fool's gold because y'all was
Well,
acting like
17 games that can
Houston.
show football.
I
17 games
guess
is a lot of games.
y'all was acting like Houston and Jacksonville should be still playing. You had Jacksonville to advance.
Yeah, but I've been wrong a lot of picking games.
My thing
What do
is
you
the
mean? Are you
expectation.
perfect at
You
picking
gotta
games?
prove it to me before, just like Seattle did. I seen what Seattle did against the Rams, and I say, okay, I wouldn't be surprised that defense is looking great. Shake their hand. Jacksonville ain't showed nothing to me. I'm not saying what you might have seen. Houston didn't show any.
You didn't give Jacksonville a chance enough to show you
No, they did
because
because when I seen them, they was
in
already
the
out.
playoffs,
That's
in the
it.
playoffs. So again, what did Seattle show you before they were in the playoffs for you to think they could get it
I
done?
didn't say. I said Seattle
So
sold me against San Francisco. That was in the playoffs.
also everything is in the playoff. Okay,
Yes, when it
that,
matters.
that's
I'm not.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
And if your team
I
ain't
got you.
winning, if your team is losing, you can forget about me watching you.
All right, you've said that.
It's the standard is the standard. Let me ask you this before we wrap up. With Mike McCarthy getting hired from the Steelers, who would you say has had the best offseason in regards to an organization when it comes to hiring a new head coach? Who would be the winner? Or even if you want to list it as two, because it was so many head coaching jobs, you said still 4 remaining.
Well, it's been retreads. You still got Cardinals remaining, the Bills remaining, the Browns and the Raiders are remaining. Um, New head coach, Dolphins and Jeff Hafley. A retread, but not a bad retread. He didn't have a great record, but Robert Salah, he's going to the Titans. Kevin Stefanski and the Falcons, as we know. Jesse Minter is going to the Ravens. And then Mike McCarthy. Um, I'm going to be a prisoner of the obvious, Vaughn. John Harbaugh and the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
this is a proven guy. This is a proven guy. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's had a team relevant. Although, don't you know about even Harbaugh? He's had the most comeback losses in the last 10 years with the Ravens, holding leads, 10 double-digit leads. He's lost more double-digit leads than any coach in the National Football League in the last 10 years. We can gloss over that. I can gloss over that because the Ravens are always there, and we can see them progressing. But now I have to look over that, and I think he's an outstanding coach. And he's got a quarterback, Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, if he comes back healthy, which I think he is. Scatterboo. He's not all world Scatterboo, but he's a 3-yard in cloud of dust. I like his toughness. And then that defense all around with Thibodeau and Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence and them boys. I think that's the best hire thus far. But then again, I'm excited about some new blood. Jeff Hafley. We don't know if Jeff Hafley is the new Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald, man, just 2 years ago, he was a defensive coordinator at the Baltimore Ravens. And here he is, 2 years removed, first time head coach in the NFL. He's playing for the Super Bowl. So I don't know if that's Jeff Hafley.
Jeff
I don't
Hafley
even know.
comes from where?
He was a defensive coordinator at Green Bay.
Did
And then he
Green
was a
Bay
former
have a
head
top
coach
defense?
when they had Michael Parsons before he went down. Yeah, they was very good.
What's your thoughts behind Phillip Rivers? Old man Rivers getting a look or getting interviewed for the head coaching job for Buffalo, and they saying that Byron Leftwich can't even get an interview, and he's coached. He's been a quarterback coach for the Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, you had Tom Brady on that squad. But what's your thoughts behind that?
Quite embarrassing. It's quite embarrassing. I don't understand it. So I would have to say that Byron Leftwich does not interview well. That's all I have to say. And why I say that, Vaughn, that's the only reason why I can tell you that Eric Bieniemy doesn't have an NFL head coaching job. He doesn't interview well because Byron Leftwich was the coordinator for Tom Brady when he won the Super Bowl with the Bucks. Eric Bieniemy now he's back off OC and he's a back offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs now, and that's a good hire and a good pickup. But after what he's done or what he did with the Kansas City Chiefs, why didn't he ever have a job? I don't know. Only thing I can come up with, do those guys didn't interview well when they sat in front of the owners? And then you're gonna sit there, you're gonna go and say Philip Rivers, who hadn't called to play on any well, he hadn't called to play in college or the NFL. He is calling plays in high school, but I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I know his 16 years. And I know he's got a good Rolodex full of coaches, and he's got a lot of systems. But I think that was just checks in the box, man. I was probably doing Philip Rivers a favor, and I'm glad. I'm glad without them having to make the decision that Philip Rivers withdrew his name from the coaching search because that was not even. And Vaughn, I don't usually say this, but I'm going to say it. You talking about setting somebody up? If that had been a job that Philip Rivers was going to get, remember, that was Josh Allen he's going to. So that's not that he's going to go to somebody searching for a quarterback or searching for a superstar. You're going to let him land in his first NFL coaching gig with a all-world quarterback? Come on, man.
Yeah,
No,
but
it shouldn't be that easy for anybody.
the pressure of going to when you got an all world quarterback. 2 years you don't make the playoffs, you'll be out there looking for a job again.
Especially when they just fired Sean McDermott, who really didn't miss playoffs at all. You're right about that.
So
Yeah, the expectations are through the roof when you look at it that way. But I mean, you got Lamar Jackson there in Baltimore, and you went and hired a defensive coach. So his hire is going to be huge. Who is he going to come in, or who is he going to get to call the offensive plays that's going to, keep that same type of game plan or keep that same type of offensive philosophy that Lamar Jackson likes.
yeah, how does we still are waiting to see what the Browns do in regards to their. I would ask you this: which pickup do you like better, Stefanski with the Falcons or Mike McCarthy with the Steelers?
Oh man, that's easy. Mike McCarthy with the Steelers. That's very easy. Very, very easy. This guy, man, you would have to look back, and if you scroll it up and look at his coaching career and his coaching resume, I would think, Vaughn, that he's only had maybe one losing season. Maybe. Remember now, when they let him go from the Dallas Cowboys, he'd been one back-to-back 13-win seasons. So I think maybe with Green Bay, might have had one. Or maybe when Dak Prescott got hurt, he went 7-9. But this guy doesn't lose, man. He doesn't lose entire seasons. He doesn't finish below 500, and he's a Super Bowl champion.
12
And I
and
think he's
5,
a
12 and 5, 12 and 5, 6 and 10, and then he was
okay.
7 and 10 2024. So he started off with Dallas 6 and 10, and then the final year he was 7 and 10, but 12 and 5 seasons. And then with Green Bay he finished 4 and 7. I don't know. They must have fired him. Oh yeah, fired after week 13. But as you stated, he has a 60% winning rate. That is great. One big Super Bowl, and that got to count for something.
Well,
And in the playoffs, he's 500. He's 11-11 in the playoffs
so a lot of experience that way.
with four
Um,
wins with Dallas in the playoffs. Four. Oh no, 1-3. Excuse me. He's 25% with Dallas, but 10 wins and 8 losses in with Green Bay in the playoffs. So 11-11, 22 games in the playoffs, and a Super Bowl championship in 2010 versus the same Pittsburgh Steelers, in which
right.
he's gonna be coaching moving forward.
Kevin Stefanski is going to have to jump on the scene and do a very, very good job of putting his imprint on the organization. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is as a philosophy guy. Is he a downfield, grip it and rip it gunslinger? Does he like to run the ball more than passing it? Is he a concept guy? I know when they were rolling at one point in time with Baker Mayfield when they went to the playoffs. I do know they went to on a stretch with Joe Flacco. Man, he came off the couch and led them to the playoffs, but he didn't show me anything. And I go back and say it. You said it a little earlier that the Falcons need to find a quarterback, and Michael Penix is not the guy. The way he botched, and I mean absolutely botched the quarterback room this past year, that's not giving me a lot of confidence. And I'm not talking about just the Pro Bowler and Shador Sanders. I'm talking about Joe Flacco, and then you had Kenny Pickett at first. And then you suffered Dylan Gabriel with not giving him enough reps. And then you suffered with Shador Sanders not giving him enough reps to be ready. So he's going to have to show me a lot as far as just regrouping and being able to lead the Falcons team, which I don't know what they're going to do with Kyle Pitts, whether they're going to sign him because he's going to garner a lot of money with the season he just put together. You got Drake London, top 10 wide receiver. You got Bijan Robinson, a top 3 running back. Christian Lindstrom, an all-pro offensive guard. Jake Matthews, left guard. So, and that defense was just, they hit on all cylinders. They hit on all their draft picks last year with James Pierce from Tennessee and your boy Walker from Georgia, Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, and Caden Ellis. They're stacked defensively. Jesse Bates in the secondary as
Well,
well.
just go on and put it back on your Atlanta Falcon jersey. Why not? Why don't you? You just can name half the roster.
Well, they got the roster.
Like I said, they got talent, but same result. But
the same results because of Arthur Blank, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Arthur Blank. And let me ask you this: since you mentioned Shador Sanders, we must go ahead and talk about it. Now, when you say Shador Sanders, make sure you put Pro Bowl Shador Sanders. What's your thoughts on somehow with Shador getting a Pro Bowl? And
you said somehow.
And hey. I tell you my thoughts on it.
Absolute joke. Absolute joke. The Pro Bowl is an absolute joke, and that's what I have to say about it. Even with the alternate, I know 1/3 of the vote goes to the fans. Shador is he is very popular with the fans. A third go to the coaches, and the rest go to his peers. So yeah. But come on, man. 56% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. That doesn't speak to me as a Pro Bowler. That is it. That's all I'm talking about. Very happy for Shador. That's going on his resume. He's going to have a bonus probably because when you make postseason awards and postseason excitement like that, you get incentives, you get extra cash as far as bonuses. But those numbers don't speak to me as Pro Bowl numbers.
I would agree. I would say the Pro Bowl been a joke. You brought it to my attention.
It's not a joke for those guys' pockets, though.
No, absolutely, and rightfully so, because I think from the beginning of the season, from the time he came in, they just replenishing some of that money that he should have already had when being drafted higher up. I told you I feel like the league is trying to utilize Shador's. I don't know if you want to say stardom or whatever you want to call it, so somebody actually watched the Pro Bowl, because I haven't watched it since Sean Taylor was playing. I didn't even know that they wasn't tackling or they wasn't playing football no more for the Pro Bowl actual game. You brought that to my attention, and I think this just shows it's no other player in the league that would have had fans watching the Browns other than Shador Sanders. The Browns was not very good all season, but people was waiting to see if Shador was going to get in. Then when he finally got in, and even when he wasn't getting in, they were still saying, man, Shador might get in. They need to put Shador in. They finally got in. They saying, oh, well, he ain't got no reps. Then he'll show flashes here, hot flashes, where it's like, okay, this should have been happening. So people is just rooting for Shador. Explain to me how he became a Pro Bowler other than Patrick Mahomes is hurt, Bo Nix is hurt. I guess Lamar Jackson was hurt.
Probably declined.
But yeah,
Lamar
so
didn't have
people
that great of a
declining
season.
it. Josh Herbert.
Oh yeah,
Herbert
yeah.
is declining it.
Declining it. And you could decline it not just this week or just this past week. When Justin Herbert, when the Pro Bowl roster was named, he probably declined it then. When those guys figured that they were going into the playoffs, they probably declined it then. When those guys thought that they probably had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, that's when they declined it. Trevor Lawrence, I thought, had a Pro Bowl type season. So all those guys, and I don't know if it's AFC, NFC anymore because it's all about competition and games led by Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Those are the head coaches of these dodgeball, skills competition, receivers catching, all those little things, and the flag football game as well. So I don't know, but I do know that I think that third, that's a popularity vote. You're absolutely correct in that people probably the fans wanted him there and voted him there when the first the first section of votes went out. But I would say this to you: when you say they wanted him, but his notoriety and his popularity, why didn't just have him in there from the get go if that's the case?
Because then you spitting in the face of all the players that should have been in there at the start. Like I was going to ask you, how many quarterbacks go to the Pro Bowl now? Because again, I don't know nothing about the NFL Pro Bowl.
I think it's 6, three apiece.
So, not named Josh Allen, not named Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or Bo Nix, because we know Bo Nix is hurt. You can't name me 6 other quarterbacks. I'm sure your boy Trevor Lawrence is in there. He not going to the Pro Bowl.
No, when I'm saying quarterbacks now.
This is 6 total, NFC and AFC.
Yes, three apiece.
So Matthew Stafford is gonna been to several Pro Bowls at this point, so he's probably like, no,
right.
I'm thinking I'm being the NFL. I think I'm being the Super Bowl, but you can't name me 6 other quarterbacks deserving. Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, you gotta Drake May, of course, but Drake May going to the Super Bowl, so that's why he's not in it.
Right.
But you gonna say Baker Mayfield?
No, he didn't have the numbers.
No,
like
not
that.
the Baker Mayfield you just was talking about that turned things around.
Yeah. See, you.
Not that Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield oh my God, Baker Mayfield just had 2 outstanding seasons. I just told you he got 2 quarterbacks or 2 offensive coordinators their head coaching jobs. Man, I just told you
let's
that.
See Baker
he turned the ball over this season.
Okay, so I'm saying name me 6 players, 6 quarterbacks, not those guys that we just named that should have got the call. C.J. Stroud.
Man, C.J. Stroud, man, he missed 4 games.
You can't say that because Shedeur missed how many? He missed 6 games.
No, but you said ahead of him. I'm not
saying, that's what I'm saying. That should get the call ahead of Shedeur.
I would say Trevor Lawrence, Herbert. Cam Ward. I'm just talking. I don't think. That's about it. You called Josh Allen, right?
No, because Josh Allen turning it down. Like I said, it's not them.
So how many? So
you got Caleb Williams. Spots. I'm saying Caleb Williams, like you said, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud, Justin. Who? You didn't just say Justin Fields.
No. My bad. What am I talking about? Jalen Hurts.
Nah, Jalen Hurts this year ain't getting no call, man.
Well,
C.J. Stroud was 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3,000. Let's see.
Okay. See, Vaughn, when you do that, I love it. When you do that, pull up real quick Jalen Hurts numbers.
25 and 6. So that's why I said I'm back track. I'm back track. C.J. Stroud ain't getting that call.
But Jalen Hurts, you said no, he ain't getting it this year. Like everybody think he had a bad year.
25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You
Yeah.
got Chicago. I'm trying to think what other, because it just seemed like it was a down year for
You
the
got to call my
NFL.
man. You got to call your boy from the Cowboys too.
Oh, Dak Prescott for sure. Why Dak
Yeah.
ain't getting no call? Or is he in there? Or he turned it down? No, I'm saying is Dak Prescott in the Pro Bowl or not?
That's good. I'm gonna ask him right now.
Pro Bowl roster. Let's pull it up. 2026. I'm gonna pull it up right here real quick. So you see it?
Oh, it's blurred out a little bit.
What
That's
about now?
okay.
I'm
No, it's
zoom
blurred
in.
out. I can see it, but I can't see the faces.
Oh, it's not showing. I can see it clearly. We good.
Okay.
We got
Okay.
Josh Allen, Drake May, Justin Herbert was the 3 quarterbacks in the AFC. You got Jamar Chase, Sutton, Jonathan Taylor, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins. He's hurt as well. James.
See, Nico Collins made it, and you were one of the guys that said C.J. Stroud don't have any talent.
I said, yeah, don't have no weapons that he could throw the ball to in the playoffs. He wasn't playing in the playoffs.
Well, he played against the Steelers.
Well, he definitely needed some more help that next week. James Cook, Devon Achaney, Rickard Brock Bowers, Deion Dawkins. Where they ain't showing the defense? Oh, here we go. That's its offense. Defense, you got Myles Garrett. Shout out to all these boys. Chris Jones made another Pro Bowl. Patrick Surtain, Christian Gonzalez, all these guys, and then special teams on the AFC. You got God, these guys got some names on them. Jordan Stout, Cameron Dicker. Now let's look at this is the AFC.
There is no way, and I'm just talking about, I don't care if you're orange,
Stafford,
blue, green,
Dak
or
is
yellow. There's no way that Shedeur Sanders to be in the Pro Bowl over Trevor Lawrence. No way.
Well, again, this goes to my point that we just said. Many people don't care about what's going on in Jacksonville.
I understand.
You got to have a movement behind. So basically, Sam Darnold as well as and Matthew
Dak
Stafford
Prescott
turned it down. So Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford was both on the NFC. Dak Prescott is in the Pro Bowl. So they had to find
Jared Goff.
What about him?
He's not in it. He should be in it.
How Jared Goff should be in the Pro Bowl?
For the season. I mean, we were still trying to name 6 quarterbacks. Name some quarterbacks outside of the big 3 or the big guys who should have gotten that call. I would have said Jared Goff as well.
I ain't giving Jared Goff no call over Shedeur.
Yeah, but again, pull up the numbers, Vaughn.
Second in yards, second in touchdowns. Well, that just means they just didn't call. They obviously didn't see no value in Jared Goff. It ain't based off his numbers.
I think Jared Goff was a replacement, just like Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, they had it. Well, this was the original roster, I guess. I believe because they're not showing the replacements. We know Stafford not going, and we know Sam Darnold not going. But again, if you looking at the rest of the league, Josh Allen not going. If Herbert turned it down, Drake May not going because he's in the Super Bowl. It ain't that many quarterbacks that you can just come to the top of your head other than. Especially if the fans got to vote, they gonna say Shedeur.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
You gonna say none of these players that we name other than Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson got any type of influence compared to Shedeur. Now, statistically, that makes a difference, and obviously your play on the field supposed to garner you a Pro Bowl, but with the replacements, I think that been out of the window. And, salute to everybody. At least even if you get a call and you turn it down, don't you still get the bonus?
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about that. No, yeah. No, yeah. My thing is, though, Vaughn, and I concur with everything you're saying, with the exception of the NFL, wanted it for notoriety, more eyes on the product. That's not a bad thing, but it's just not a good look, man. I don't care, again, if it's yellow, blue, green, or red. when a quarterback gets in with 56% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a Pro Bowler, that just doesn't look good. That's all. I don't care who's behind that, who's the numbers, that part about it. Now, and I know it's the brand, and yes, they're gonna be wanting to watch Shador. So they're gonna hit a home run with whoever put Shador in. That's gonna be a home run because that's been his whole life, especially Colorado. We tuned into Colorado because of that. We tuned into the draft in the first rounds and to see where Shador was going. We
Right.
tuned into Cleveland to see where they were. Matter of fact, I don't think we watched Cleveland, or I didn't watch Cleveland in the first 4 or 5 games because Flacco was there. They didn't become an exciting, a must-watch TV for me until Shador Sanders took over or was starting the rest of the season. So you have some, I see where you're going with that one. That's not off the wall at all.
And one more thing I say, because I say this to I tell this to Jessica all the time. You cannot discredit when the audience or the world has grown up with somebody like they have with Shador. Because we didn't just first see Shador when he was in Jackson State. They had a sitcom, a reality TV show when Shador was like 12 years old, and you seen Prime and Shador then. Same way with LeVar Ball and the Ball Boys, and you seen Melo, and a lot of folks like Melo. I still, every time I say Melo, I'm talking about Carmelo, but you was talking about LaMelo Ball, because they seen him growing up. So the connection between the fan and the player is way different than somebody that's just now coming on and gotta earn it on the field, because they've been watching and rooting for these guys as kids, seeing them as kids, and now you see them go through these different things, whether they say it's fair or unfair. You're rooting for them like a family member, because you've been watching them as if you was a family member, and you see somebody, whether it be a nephew, or, oh, I remember you was 2 years old. I remember when Skylar was still in diapers. Now you seeing them driving and doing everything, doing well. You just be proud. So I think that might play a role as well to everything else you just mentioned with Colorado watching them or seeing them at Jackson State, what we had to endure with the draft with them, having to see him sit behind Flacco. So the fact that they is saying that he's in a Pro Bowl, not to say that the NFL gonna got it right, because I ain't gonna say that they gonna got it right much over the last year, but I'm not mad at it.
I know I'm not mad at it either, but I'm not going as far as even to him dropping in the draft and all that. Collusion.
It's something. You ain't got a word for it, but we not gonna act like it ain't what it is. The same way you just say Byron Leftwich can't get an interview, but
No. I didn't say he couldn't get an interview. I said he must have did not interview well when he got the interview. He's gotten interviews. I'm saying he must have didn't get interview well, just like the enemy. But my whole pushback to what you're saying a little bit, Vaughn, if it's collusion, if it's something about Dion and his dad, if it was about them trying to keep him down, then why the change of not colluding now?
because they see that it making money. Anything with that
He didn't
saying
make them.
anything with
You think
Shador,
those 7 games? You
anything
think
with
those
Shador
seven?
part of is making money,
You think those 7 games
and it's
that
gonna
the
help their
NFL?
ratings.
You think those 7 games that Shador Sanders played helped the ratings for the NFL?
For the Cleveland Browns, I guarantee
No,
it
no, I'm
did.
talking. No. That's why I was specific in when I asked. Yes, I said no for the NFL
So I would
because
think
remember,
if it's helping the Cleveland Browns, a
well, that's
franchise that not being seen much, if that increases their ratings, that's increasing the NFL ratings. Because
no,
if
that's
the
a particular
Cleveland Browns
market
is
though.
only seeing, let's say 2 million viewers watching the Cleveland Browns, you put Shador on, and now 7 million viewers is watching the Cleveland Browns. That's helping the NFL by 5 million viewers,
No,
regardless of the rest of the league.
no. Okay, I just think it's helping Cleveland, yes, but the NFL, that's a cash cow. For that, for them to be concerned about who's entertaining and what fan base is watching the Cleveland Browns, they would have moved. Knowing that they flex games and see if you all these things are added up, have been adding up, Vaughn. I would be agreeing with you as far as the cash cow and money making. Because as soon as the NFL saw that more viewers are watching the Cleveland, and it's up 3 million. I know that you didn't. That's not facts, but you just putting it out there. Or the viewership is up around the NFL. They would have flexed the Cleveland Browns. They would have put Cleveland Browns on the 4:30 game, or they would have put them on Sunday night or Monday night or Thursday night. So that didn't. Well, the fact that didn't happen, why are you shaking your head?
Can't do that when one they
Why
wasn't
they flex
winning.
games all
Not
the
not
time?
not what only when you got teams that is actually winning. They weren't winning to make you flex and change the schedule, as well as I don't care what time they playing. If they playing during 1 o'clock and Atlanta's on, you know the Falcons gonna be on because we here in Atlanta. So Fox is gonna play the Falcons regardless. I don't care what time
No,
Shador is
that's not
playing in
flex. No,
Cleveland.
no, I'm talking about no. I'm only talking flex prime time. That's not flex. Flex. That's not what's going to play on your local market. I mean, your local market is going to play the games that's in your local market. I'm talking flex for the whole entire NFL will be able to watch, and you the only game or only one out of two games in that slot. There's a 4 o'clock slot, and then normally on the NFC in that is a 4:25 slot for the big game or the Fox game of the week or the CBS game of the week. Or that's the case, or 8:15 Sunday night or 8:15 Thursday night. Or those are the type of things if they're going to maximize his appearance. And I'm not saying Shador doesn't go out there. He carries a lot of fan base. He might carry a lot of people in the NFL that voted for him. I can't. That's the only thing I can't see. With a third of the fan voting, third of the coaches, and the third of the players, I can't see the players voting him in as the alternate with those numbers. Not his notoriety because they love him and they're rooting for him. I've heard everybody rooting for Shador, especially his teammates. But with those numbers, I can't see the players or the coaches voting him in.
Let me ask you this last thing. We're gonna wrap up. Um, man, you said something there with. I think we got to wait next year. That's gonna show. Obviously, he's from now. He's still with the Cleveland Browns. You can't because the schedule was already made. We knew who was gonna be playing at 4:45 or 4:25. We knew who was gonna be playing at 1. Let's see how many primetime games Cleveland has next season. Because if it was a way where they could flex or shift the schedule around, they wouldn't have had them Christmas Day games, the ones that they had, because everybody was hurt and it wasn't really much games to watch. But let's see this upcoming year how many primetime games or that you see Cleveland actually playing Sunday night, Monday night, or, even Thursday night football. That's going to be the Shador effect.
Yeah, and I can't wait till we have this discussion later on. It's too early now because we have to see what this head coach is going to do.
Or
We got to
who
see
is
what this
going to
new
be.
well, even if who it's going to be, is he going to announce that there's going to be a quarterback competition between Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador Sanders? Is he going to come out already and for the sake of a great offseason say that Shador Sanders is the quarterback? Because to your point, if that new head coach says that Shador Sanders is our quarterback going into the 2026 season, get ready for what you just said. Monday night, everybody plays on Thursday night, and even a Sunday night game, a 4:25 game. Yes, Shador Sanders will be marketed by the NFL. There is no doubt about it, in my opinion. Yes, they will take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I'll be a happy camper knowing and waiting, ready and waiting, because I don't watch too many regular season games, but you better know if in fact.
When can we? Okay. When can we put this to bed? When can we put collusion to bed?
We just got to see how it goes. Because, again, you can't say that they wanted him to be starting quarterback where they placed him at. It's been more so favor. It's been more so favor, and God has put him in the position that he's currently in. It ain't been no coach. It ain't been none of them that they're going to put him in a favorable position. Once he got there, he made enough plays to stay there.
I can't disagree with that. But from the word go and from the get-go, I've always said that I don't see where you saw it in the NFL is doing this, and the NFL had a collusion. That's why I'm bringing this back up to even when we have to see how it goes. The new head coach, if he comes in and he says, hey, I'm going to name Shador Sanders the starter, because I watched all the film and all the reps that each and every one of these quarterbacks had last year. So I'm gonna put Shador Sanders as a quarterback. Will that now when he does that, will he have to answer to the NFL, Vaughn?
Well, who?
Because you're saying this is coming from the NFL, the NFL is colluding. So if the new head coach, say the new head coach is Byron Leftwich, if Byron Leftwich is that's not the case, I'm just throwing a name out there, and Byron Leftwich comes and he says, Shador Sanders, you're my starter. Will he get a call from the NFL now and say, what are you doing? Don't do that because we colluding against Shador Sanders?
Well, for one, he's gonna have to speak with his owner. He gonna have to speak with his owner, which selected Shador. Because at this point, it's not a matter of what the NFL, it's the ownership because he on the team. When you enter in the draft, as you may know, it ain't just one owner. You got multiple owners that if they was going, anytime they was going to collude, they could, the same way they did with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, the NFL found a way to hold him out, and not saying that he was deserving of a roster spot, but we just seen Stidham. Who's to say he deserving of a roster spot?
Somebody